We need more teaching degrees. Not only because we need more teachers, but also because we are bad at helping each other. This is 10-minute talks where I talk for 10 minutes and post whatever's usable. We need more educators, we need more teachers, we need more people to tell you how things are. I feel as though people would hear that and immediately go, you want people to download more thoughts into my brain? But I think that's the issue, right? I think the issue is there's so much slop now on the internet, which includes the contentification of tutorials. Now, when a tutorial is well informed by a person who knows what they're doing, then it is an asset, it is a tool. It moves the entire ecosystem of whatever group that's in forward because you're teaching a skill that everyone is able to implement and then iterate on. To teach is one of the best things you can do, one of the most virtuous things you can do, in my mind, aside of create. Because to teach allows you to meaningfully impact other people's lives, where that effect can butterfly into so many more people who need that help too. But when a tutorial is poor, when a tutorial is bad, a tutorial will spread misinformation that is then iterated on, that then promotes either non-functional at best, and at worst harmful information towards the entire community. And the effort to fix that and adjust that evil seed is so much greater than just having done your research in the first place. And there are people who are trying to make careers off of doing tutorials such. And when it's incredibly easy stuff like going into device manager and resetting drivers and all that such, then anyone can do that. Anyone can teach you how to do that. But something particularly interesting is when it comes into the realm of voice work. If you're like trying to teach someone how to screamo growl and you teach them the wrong thing, you could be implicitly responsible for the vocal cord damage on that person. When I speak to contentification, it's that people want to get big off of teaching someone something, or teaching a whole bunch of people something, that their modus operandi for creating content is to teach. You've really got to know what you're doing, and you've really got to know how to communicate it. Going back to a teaching degree, when an artist tries to teach you something, they can only communicate that thing, that concept to you, the way they learned it. Often the people who are the most skilled are the worst teachers, because it is hard to give somebody else the experience you had when navigating the space. If you say, oh, to start conceptualizing things in boxes, well, somebody needs to learn how to draw a box in the first place. And while there's a wonderful resource for that, I still think that there is still so much that is not known. And again, this isn't to knock people who are trying earnestly to educate other people. But I think teaching should be part of common curriculum. I think communicating something so somebody else can do it should be part of curriculum. I remember going to school, right? Part of our science class was making a method that you didn't have to be there for the other person, the other team, to be able to produce the same thing, right? A recipe, if you will, a method, if you will, a set of directions, a codex. I looked down on it at first because I wasn't particularly a sciencey kid. I loved writing. The idea of, first of all, having to communicate something, easy for me, but having to communicate something in a way that leaves no room for misinterpretation, it was hard. It was genuinely hard. How do I write in a way that people don't misunderstand what I'm saying? I'm not sure how many people had that same experience in school growing up. I don't know how many people had that experience of looking at themselves and looking at the advice they're giving to someone, saying, does this person have all the tools baked in order to understand and follow through with this? No, often the people who are successful don't know what they did to get to where they got. And them teaching is them just, their advice, as all advice, is subjective and context specific and is never one size fits all. So instead, I think there should be an effort, there should be a coordinated effort to creating a lot of more young educators. If not for the purpose of teaching STEM or the humanities, at the very least, just like be able to communicate how they got to a place in the first place. I mean, is this all of school, now that I think about it? Now that I look back, were we just not paying attention? When we were writing these essays to communicate a point to somebody else, was it more important to you to get the grade than it was to communicate that thing? To meaningfully connect with that person through text about how something works? Now, I can't tell, right? I'm no longer in the immediate primary and secondary school systems, but I keep cribbing on this Korean Beef 27 video about school, how the point of it was to teach you how to be able to communicate, how to be able to problem solve, how to solve for error. A lot of things that I'm begging for right now are things we should have learned in school. And all we got out of it was a fixation on praise and debt. I wish I could tell you how to be a better educator. But the only thing I've got to say to that degree is to listen. Because when somebody tells you their problems, knowing what they mean but when they say their problem is like 40 to 60% of solving it. Because if you keep solving the wrong problems, because you hear the wrong problems coming out of their mouth, giving them the ability to communicate what's wrong and then addressing that is the most important thing you can do in order to educate and or just connect with someone. I hate linguistic drift. I've said it many a time on my Twitch streams from Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. I hate linguistic drift because words mean things at first, and when they stop meaning those things or start meaning something else, when I tell you something, you might get something wrong. And what is a more human want than to be understood? The exercise of teaching, the exercise of communication is just the exercise of being understood, isn't it? And instead of learning that in school, we're learning that later on, fumbling around, like parents who should have read books on parenting but didn't. And that's an issue. I mean, now that we know that there's a problem, we can troubleshoot, we can learn, we can figure things out. But I wish it wasn't, you know? I wish we didn't live in a glut of information being vomited back and forth without knowing the method or through line for it. And it's only gonna get worse. Ding ding ding, 10 minutes.